How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new here, do me a huge favor, go down and subscribe. Today we're finally doing a modification to the Mustang that I've wanted to do basically even before I bought the car, but just in the last 2 years I've never done it, and I finally pulled the trigger last month and put this modification on order, and I told you guys that I had a mod coming. Well, this is that modification. I'm very excited, and this should make a pretty big difference in just day-to-day drives. That being said, let's get a cold start on the Mustang, put it into the garage, and get this install underway. Nice little cold start. So, obviously by the title of this video, and I've leaked it on Instagram as well. If you don't follow me on Instagram, make sure you do so. You guys already know what the mod is. I'm installing a new carbon fiber steering wheel into this car. I've always wanted to do kind of a carbon fiber Alcantara type steering wheel upgrade to the car. This car has a factory carbon fiber dash, factory shifter with it, and with the carbon fiber dash option, you get like Alcantara suede inserts into the seats and into the side there as well. So I always felt the steering wheel kind of just was a little You know, it's leather wrapped, it's nice, but this aftermarket one's gonna look a little bit better. Now, the one thing I don't like is just like overdoing it in carbon fiber. I like the little splash on the dash, and I don't like adding fake sticker carbon fiber or anything like that. I just don't like the tacky look. So I've always kind of been on the edge about doing more carbon to the car, but I think this is going to be a nice kind of addition. Anytime I've seen it done on any type of Mustang, it always suits the car really well and doesn't look tacky. With that being said, this is the new steering wheel, so let's take a look at what we have here. It has a little bit of carbon fiber touches. It has the carbon on the top, it has a flat bottom and the carbon on the bottom here with a little bit of suede and Alcantara that matches the side here. And the stitching is white. This is a little more gray, but it's really close, and I'm sure over time it's gonna kind of be the same stitching. I was gonna go purple, but then I decided there's no purple accents anywhere on the car. Obviously purple to contrast the Kona blue, which does have a little bit of a purple shine occasionally, but the interior is very black and white, so I didn't want to do that. So I stuck with the white stitching and a white center top. There's a bunch of different options you can do. You can basically pick like perforated leather, all the different stitching options, different center clock options, different carbon fiber options. These little like trim pieces here you can also get in carbon fiber. I decided to opt out of that. In my opinion, I like the little chrome bits because, you know, they're everywhere else on the car, so that matches the rest of the interior. And for the carbon there, I think it'll take away just a little bit, but if you do want to do that, that is an option available. But I got this wheel from Zeta Composites. I'll leave them in the description down below, so if you guys want to check this out for yourself, make sure you go do so. They have wheels for Mustangs, and they make a ton of carbon fiber parts for the cars as well. They also have wheels and other carbon fiber accessories for other Ford products, BMWs, Subarus, and even Chevys. So they have a ton of different aftermarket carbon fiber products. So if you want to check them out, make sure to do so in the description down below. That being said, let's get to the install. Step 1, we have to disconnect the battery because of the airbag, so you should let the car sit for a couple of minutes. I hear some people say a minute, I hear some people say 10 minutes to get rid of all that charge. I'm just going to let it sit for about 10 to 15 minutes and then come back to it. So to disconnect the battery, you just need a 10mm, and then you quickly just take it off. I already have it taken off, and since we have the battery disconnected, let's talk about some of the tools that we're going to need for installation. So I have a socket set with me with a wrench just in case we need it for certain things like taking the battery out, disconnecting, those types of things. You're going to need a 24, and then in order to pry some of the plastics away, you should have a plastic pry tool. I've lost one and I never replaced it. You're also going to need an Allen key. I'll put the exact size on the screen. You're going to need some type of hex bit of some kind. I don't know if this is the exact size. These are all the tools right here. Okay, so about 10 minutes have passed, meaning we can go and take out this old steering wheel in order to install the new one. All right, so step 1 was obviously taking the battery out so the airbag doesn't blow up in our face. Step 2, there's a little bolt in here. I'm gonna use our tool here. You actually don't even need the correct size because it's actually a spring, not a bolt. So it kind of just like clips in, which makes more sense. So if I come over to the side and go like this, I should be able to feel the spring right there. And then I theoretically should be able to just pull the left side off, kind of like so. One thing when you disconnect the battery, your windows won't crack anymore since the Mustang has frameless windows. So you just gotta be a little extra careful opening and closing the doors. This is supposed to be simple, but nothing goes to plan ever. It is a little tricky to get off. Yeah, I'm gonna need to call in some help because I just had surgery, so my body isn't working as it should, but I got one side out pretty easily, just the second side I have to use my other hand and I can't do it. Okay, with a little bit of help, got it to pop out really easily. I just couldn't get the leverage on it. There are two yellow connections and one black connection to the airbag. So we're going to disconnect all three of these. So I was looking at the connections just to see how they come out. This black one literally just slips out. So as you can see here, the orange tab just lifts up, and then ever so carefully you should be able to just pull it up. If I just go like this and put this in here, simply lifts off just like that. And just like that, the airbag is off. Now the next step is to remove the wheel. You're going to take your 24mm socket and undo this bolt right here. Go like this. That's actually really loose. Like, you do not need an impact for this. It was extremely loose. So it just snug fit. We don't need an impact to put it in. And just like that, the bolt is out. One thing I forgot to mention before starting this, make sure you have the steering wheel pretty much upright so that when you install it, you can install it the same way. So now that we have the bolts out, we can just take the wheel off. You can actually take this clip off from this little hole. So you're supposed to take that clip off beforehand. I should have known there was an extra step, but I think everything's going to be okay and the alignment should be fine. Take the clip off before you take the wheel off. Learn from my mistakes. But now that we have the wheel off, we need to transfer all of the hardware over to the other wheel. So let's go into the office and do that. Alright, so we have the new one and we have the old one. We're transferring the wiring and the hardware. This is a T25. This will unbolt all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bolts that I see, and there's a couple underneath once you get the first couple off. So to show you guys what we're working with here, we have all the bolts along the edges here, and as you can see, there's two different kinds of bolts. So just documenting now all the ones that go in certain spots. Let's just take all of them off and then see what we're working with. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little nervous about this install because of all the different wiring and everything. Originally, I was thinking about getting an LED screen in mind, but after consideration over the last 2 years or so, I was like, I really don't want to go with the LED screen. I don't want to splice all the wires and everything. And I also just think it's a little unneeded for what I would want. So obviously being super careful with all the plastics and everything, there are a couple of bolts around the top here that I didn't see that take this plastic off. So I'm going to take this plastic cover off and find a better way to take off everything else. Okay, I caved. I needed the plastic tools. I did not want to break anything, so I went and got the plastic trim tools. So now we should be able to finish and actually swap these. I just did a horrible job at opening this package, but regardless, we're in, and we should now be able to get into this without damaging it, which is the idea. I was struggling so hard to get this top bracket off right here because I'm trying to be careful with it, but turns out you just gotta pry it off. Basically what I'm doing is just taking this plastic trim tool and putting it around the edge here. After popping this off, you can kind of just come here, and you gotta use a little bit of force, which I don't want to use and didn't want to use, but you gotta use just a little bit and actually pull this off like so. It seems like it's breaking it, but it's not. Once this is off, there's a little connector back there. Take the connector off and this piece should come out. I have Mustang wheel everywhere, but I'm trying to be gentle with the wiring, trying to be gentle with the controls, because everything is going to be used on this wheel right here. So now that I've gotten the top buttons out, there is one screw right here and one screw right here that I have to remove, and then these pieces should come out, and so should this plastic backing here. Alright, so I have the bolts removed, this plastic bit comes with it. There is this wire here, there's a little clip under the wire. Unplug this, and I'm going to do that to both sides and get everything out. There we go. Now both of those are out, and all 5 of the wiring pieces are out. This plastic backing has to come off, the wiring has to come off to all come onto here. Okay, I have got the wiring and I have got the back kind of surround piece out. I didn't film it because I didn't think I was going to take it out when I did. I keep trying to be nicer to like the parts than I need to be. You literally just push. So this was connected onto here. I guess I'll get a better angle. So the plastic contains all the wiring, and this piece was on top like this. I literally just push this harder and it came off. I didn't want to break anything. You don't want to break plastic because you can't really repair it, so you just push harder. The one thing that I've been doing wrong this entire time is just like I gotta apply a little bit more force. That was the last piece that I needed. Now we just do the reverse. We add this and do this. I think this part is self-explanatory. A lot of people didn't show the disconnections and all of these in detail, so that's kind of why I wanted to do it for the people who are struggling a little bit. Use a little bit more force. That's the tip I'll give you. That's the one thing I learned from doing this, that I was being a little too gentle. So let's get everything back on. Because I'm a slight genius, I took a picture of the bolts before so that I can replace them the exact same way that they were before. So I highly recommend that you either use my video for reference when I showed you before, or you take a picture of your wheel if you're planning to do this install. If you're too lazy to take a picture, just know it's the top and the bottom ones are the T20s, and then the rest are the T25s. And all of these are in. Perfect. We have 1 and 2. I have gone ahead and hooked the power wire up. I have very loosely put this bolt back in, and what I have done is I have also tested all of these, so I know that this works because that works. All of the buttons are working. This bottom one is working. Switches through the menus there. Before we put the airbag on, we have to make sure that I put the steering wheel in the right place. I drove it up and down the driveway to make sure it's aligned properly. Everything's working fine. Everything's aligned properly, even though I have to take everything off again because I pinched a wire. But I got to be really careful when taking that off. But I know where the proper alignment is. Alignment is straight. So it's aligned properly. All the buttons are working. Now we got to get the airbag in and make sure there's no airbag light. Then we'll take it on a little drive. We have the power wire in. I accidentally forgot to put this wire inside. I left it on the outside, which is why I had to take it off again and pull this wire in. So this is connected. Now we just put the airbag back on with these 3, and then it just clips in, hook up the battery, and hope everything works. Another thing I messed up on, the airbag wires don't come out from here. They come from the top because the connector is on top. You won't have enough room and won't be able to clip it in if you do it from the bottom. With all 3 connectors in, the steering wheel is finally done. And oh my god, I'm looking at this for the first time. It looks amazing. Let me step out of the car so you can get the whole feeling. That looks awesome. It looks so much better, and it suits that carbon fiber really well. If we look at the 2 weaves, the weaves are actually pretty similar. Just looking at it from here, you can't really tell the difference between the 2 weaves. Of course, there are slightly different, but the wheel looks awesome. As far as all the quality goes, the carbon fiber quality is amazing. As you can see here, the work is very well done. All the stitching is done really well. The fit and finish is like perfect on all of the stock stuff. This looks like it is an OEM piece, and that is exactly what I was going for. All the Alcantara is very nice. Keeping this clean might be a little bit of a pain. I've heard from other people, from supercar owners and whatnot, that have these factory, like, oh, they're so hard to clean, or they get like dirty after a while, but if you know how to take care of it properly, everything should be fine. Having the door closed, I love how that matches. That the stitching goes very well together with the stock stitching in the car. But I'm going to plug the battery in, make sure the horn works, make sure the airbag light isn't coming on, and make sure everything is working properly and everything is aligned properly. So I'm going to go quickly around the block. Number 2. No lights, the airbag didn't go off, everything is working properly. Let's take it around the block real quick. Super hard for you guys to see probably, but the car is driving absolutely straight, dead on. Everything is correct, nothing is off. It actually might, I might have fixed the alignment, because ever since I got my wheels installed, it's been slightly crooked, like 2 millimeters crooked, and it's always bothered me, and I think I may have fixed it. But it's driving straight. It looks so good. The flat bottom is awesome, because now my leg doesn't get in the way. It is slightly bigger than stock, perhaps. Maybe it's slightly more bulky, but it fits in my hands a lot better than the factory one did, and overall I'm just really impressed with this and really happy that I got this. It looks awesome and it feels awesome as well. Once again, if you're looking for a Mustang wheel or a wheel for your car, make sure you guys check out the link in the description down below for Zeta Composites. Huge shout out to them for making this for me. That's all I have for this video. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more awesome videos and some modifications coming on the Mustang and my other cars as well. But other than that, I will see you guys in the next video. Also, I forgot to mention, yes, the horn still works.